Today, I am very excited to announce that we are launching a new project. It's a magazine. It's called Cherry Bones. And I love the name more than anything, and I'm not going to explain the name to you because I think you get it. I trust you. I trust you to get it. Let me tell you just a little bit about Cherry Bones. Let me tell you how we made it, why we made it, and if you would like to read it, how you can go about doing that. First question, why make a coffee magazine? There already are a bunch of great coffee magazines out there, but one of the sort of central ideas of what we do here on this channel is that we think coffee is really interesting and has so many different stories that deserve to be told. And we felt that there's a place to tell different stories in a different way than what you see out there. So we're not trying to compete with what's out there, we're trying to add on to what is out there. Now, I keep saying we. I should explain who we is. It is myself and Ben Zabodi. Ben and I were involved in another magazine project many, many years ago called Longberry that was doing something similar, trying to tell unusual and different kind of coffee stories. And it was a success, but we just had too much other stuff on, and it never really continued past the first couple of issues. We're back. We talked for many years about wanting to do it again, about being very proud of that project. And this, I think, is an incredible evolution of that. So Ben is the editor. In this case, I suppose I'm the publisher. I should explain what I mean by publisher. The channel here, I suppose, is the thing, putting up the money to get these things printed, having input, helping with distribution, I suppose advertising, all of those kind of things. But, you know, Ben as the editor is in charge of what is inside this because that's his background, that's his skill set. As for what's inside it, this is really important to us, and maybe this isn't going to work, but this is the model that we wish to pursue. This contains no advertising whatsoever, none. And on the other side of things, we want to make sure that we pay contributors, authors, photographers, designers well and properly for their work, which we believe has a value at a time that is trying to rapidly devalue their work. Right? So this is the pitch. When you buy this, you are paying for the hard work of talented people. You're not paying to receive a bunch of ads or, worse still, articles that are ads in disguise. That isn't the case here. This is just straight, great work from talented people, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the cost of producing it, printing it, and delivering it to your door. This may not work, but our goal is to try and build a sustainable business around this model if we can build an audience that cares about this. We hope we can bring the price down in the future. It starts out being a little bit higher than we maybe would want, but I still think it is tremendous value for money. We'll get to that whole piece in a second. As for the articles themselves, I don't want to just list out one by one the articles that are in this because that's not surprising. We'll show you a contents page. The type of journalism that we're interested in is to take a story that I think is interesting to coffee people, but also not coffee people. If you're just someone interested in the world, everything in this should appeal to you and be interested. But if you like coffee even just a little bit, that will certainly add a layer of delight to you as you read these stories. And they're stories from around the world, related to coffee directly, on the fringes of coffee a little bit. This also does contain my single favorite photo spread that I have ever seen related to coffee. Now, there's one more thing I want to tell you about this issue. And actually this I'm holding in my hands is actually a digital proof. This isn't a finished printed copy, though we have finished printing copies, but they're going straight into warehousing. The paper that this is made of is a little bit unusual. Now, we worked with the paper supplier, G.F. Smith, and they have been incredibly supportive and have made the pricing of the paper more accessible to us. They've given us a discount, for which we're very grateful, which meant that we could print the entire magazine in a very fun, very special paper that not only feels great, but has a wonderful story behind it. And we got to go to the paper mill that makes it to show you how that paper is made, because I think it's pretty relevant. The paper for this magazine, called Extract, is made from the humble paper coffee cup. So I've come up here to the paper mill that makes Extract. I've come with G.F. Smith so I can understand more about the whole process. Like, why isn't every paper cup turned into paper? What's special about this process? How exactly does it work? Those are the questions. Now, the first challenge for recycling this cup is actually getting it here to the mill. Let's say you've finished your cup of coffee and you're trying to dispose of it responsibly. Well, you think, oh, I should find a recycling bin, not a litter bin. But it turns out if you put the cup in either, it'll end up in the same place. In your home or out on the street, this will just end up in landfill. It has to go into a dedicated cup recycling scheme. Costa do them, McDonald's do them. There are independent schemes, and that's how they get here to the paper mill. you can't just recycle these because a cup like this is a combination of paper and a thin plastic layer on the inside to make the whole thing watertight. And that plastic stops it being recyclable in traditional kind of recycling routes. And so here's how the cups arrive, compressed in these big bales. And it turns out they get a little wash before they come here, which is very nice. Now, I had a fascinating chemistry lesson at the start today covering kind of color, super interesting, as well as what makes a good paper cup for recycling. You see, they have to test every cup that comes in here, every batch of cups, because this is kind of ideal composition. When you make a paper cup, you need pulp to do that. And there's two types of pulp. There's mechanical pulp and chemical pulp. Turns out chemical pulp is the better one here. It's a little bit more expensive, but it makes the resulting paper way more usable for different applications. And so a good cup will have, say, 5% mechanical, 95% chemical, but in some cases, it might be up to 50% mechanical, and in that case, they can't use those kind of cups. If you really want to annoy your cup supplier, if you're a cafe owner, you should totally ask what the ratio of mechanical to chemical pulp in your cups is. This is where the paper enters the process and the cups are broken down and the plastic is separated. So this is the plastic that's come off the paper cups. This used to just be a waste product. That isn't the case anymore. What's good now is that this can be taken away by someone else and combined with other plastics to create new things like garden furniture, which is pretty great. The process of separation is the secret sauce, so we couldn't film it. Now, to make paper, you get a giant cauldron called a blending chest, add your water, add your slurry of paper and your chemistry, and you heat and stir it. And you can also, at this stage, add colour. Then it goes to the wire and press. The pulp entering the wire is 99% water and 1% pulp, and they immediately start squeezing the water out of it. At this stage, down to around 50%. Most of the water can be reused. Then it heads to the dryer to take the moisture content down to around 7%. This machine looks like it's ironing the paper. It isn't. It's checking the thickness of the paper very precisely so that the machines can be adjusted if necessary. And then, at the end, it's rolled up onto a jumbo roll, and you have your finished paper. And here it is, at the end of the whole process. This is a single sheet of extract. And obviously, we're going to need a lot more to print a whole magazine, and it will go from here to the printers to be turned into something beautiful. The speed of the modern printing press is astonishing. They're able to print up to 18,000 sheets per hour here, all with incredible detail, colour and precision. And once it's printed, it'll then be bound. And so we have made this magazine. This isn't like a Kickstarter, you're not kind of crowdfunding it. We've committed, we've made the thing, we have done the first run. It's a limited run. They are now in a warehouse in the UK, ready to be dispatched around the world. And if you would like to buy one, that would make me incredibly happy because I think you'll really enjoy it. And there is a link in the description to buy the first edition of Cherry Bones if you would like to. We'll be dispatching as and when we can. The sort of printer is doing all the fulfillment in this case for us, and so that will happen as quickly as is possible. If this first limited run sells out really quickly, we will put up a pre-sale for a second limited run. There will only, I think, ever be 2 runs of this thing here. The second run will have a bit of a lead time because the paper has to be made kind of to order, and that takes a little while. So that pre-order may run for a few weeks before we can then run the second run of the first edition to ship that out. We may not get there, but I hope we do. But if you would like one of these, and I hope you do, the link is in the description down below. Thank you to everyone, especially GF Smith, for making this whole thing possible. It's so delightful that we could print this whole thing out of used coffee cups. I think that's great. I think that's very cool. And I think this magazine is something I'm very proud of. As for the second edition, we are obviously working on it. We're not going to give you a fixed kind of release schedule. It's not going to be a monthly. It's not even probably going to be a quarterly. If you want to sign up, there'll be an email address sort of option. You can sign up to the newsletter if you want to know about the second edition when that does come out. Obviously, we'll be telling people who bought the first edition first about that sort of a thing. Anyway, I'm very excited. I'm very proud of this thing. I'm delighted to be a part of this thing. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great day.